They all saw this writing on the wall. And none of these companies want to admit any of these issues when they have time to change it. Because if they do, that means number is not going up. And if they're a company that that is publicly traded, or if they're part of a company, an umbrella company that's publicly traded, line not going up is bad. And if line is not going up and permanent growth is not always happening, your shareholders are pissed and they want sacrifices at the altar of the stock market. That's what it is. It is cutting your nose off to spite your face. It is letting go of your talented developers in order to save face for a single quarter. That's what this is. So we've covered some less than great news, but important news. And now we are continuing with the death of Bungie, the unironic death of Bungie. Bungie has died, and we're going to cover the news on what happened, why. This happened literally 1 day ago, July 31st, actually a couple of days ago. I'm a little late on this, but this is not great news, and we're going to go into what happened, why, and who did this, and why it happened, and what this means for Destiny 2, what this means for the future of Bungie, what this means for the future of all the Destiny players as a whole. A new path for Bungie. July 31st, Pete Parsons. For anyone who doesn't know, Pete Parsons is the CEO of Bungie. This morning, I'm sharing with you all some of the most difficult changes we've had to make as a studio due to the rising cost of development. By the way, I want you to know, interrupting myself already, this statement is like many other statements when something like this happens. It's all bullshit. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's all bullshit. I'll explain to you why. I'll explain to you how. But this is a bullshit statement. This is him trying to cover his ass. This is him trying to assuage all of the hate that he is no doubt getting, and also fully and completely deserves. So, due to the rising cost of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development costs entirely on Destiny and Marathon. And we'll go back to the same sentence. We'll go back to the same sentence in just a moment, because it is highly ironic that this is what he's saying. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. That is almost 1/5. This is a huge firing. This is a huge amount of layoffs, guys. This is crazy. These actions will affect every level of the company, including our most executive and senior leader roles. You know, I doubt this, actually. And I'll tell you a couple of reasons why, but I'm curious if they will release a list of the executives and senior leader roles being affected by this, because genuinely, executives and senior leaders that get, laid off in times like this, it's few and far between. The chances that it actually affects the executives and senior leader roles in even the same proportion or even at all are frankly snowflakes in hell. So I would not believe this sentence until they release a like a list of people that are getting laid off, or if someone's able to find out which leaders, which executives are getting laid off. Because I won't believe this. The leaders and the senior leaders and executives are the ones that always cause these issues, and they're never the ones that reap what they truly need to sow. They don't reap what they sow. Exactly. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for our departed colleagues, all of which have made important, valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. Honestly, if you wanted to support them with the utmost care and respect, you would have, handled the company better and not caused this situation to happen in the first place. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we'll be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I hope that people reach out with what their coverage is, because this is always very telling. When one of the few good things that happened with the Riot Games layoffs was their package was extremely generous, and people, were very vocal. They got 6 months of severance. They got help finding new jobs. They got this. They got that. They were able to keep their laptops from their work, which is like, a significant cost, and so on and so forth. Like they had like actual real big things, and it was very, very important that it was handled in the correct manner. Now, this could be one of the only good nuggets of information here. And if this is true and they're actually offering a quote unquote generous exit package, good. The people getting fired, the people getting laid off are the ones that truly deserve it. They did not do anything to screw this situation up. It is kind of the executive staff's issue here. It is Pete Parsons' issue here. So they better give a good package, and I sincerely hope it is a good package. And people are being very, very vocal about being part of the layoffs already on Twitter. We'll cover some of those news, some of those bits of news as well. So hopefully find out details about that, just to make sure that they're being treated right. Because if they're not, I mean, shit, they should be screwed over even more. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the final shape. Yep. The final shape is apparently a giant banger of a DLC. And so the fact that this is happening right after it being a giant banger of a DLC is really shitty. It's like really, really, really bad. But as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the past year, and after exhausting all other mitigation options, I am extremely curious if this is true, because there's a lot of mitigation options. There's reorganization. There's all kinds of stuff. And I don't know of anything that Bungie has done in terms of other mitigation options. I really don't. I really hope that Pete Parsons gets under giant scrutiny to actually share what other mitigation options did he do. Because right now, everyone's hating on him. Deservedly. He's the reason this is happening. But the real question is he fucking lying here? Because he's been lying from his eye teeth for years. And he's been held, his feet held to the fire several times. And he's, squirreled out of it every single time. So what is the truth here? I'm genuinely curious, and I hope details do come forth. We don't have any yet. We really don't. Otherwise, I'd tell you already if there was. This has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and business with more realistic goals and viable financials. We are committing to 2 other major changes today that we believe will support our focus. Leverage Sony's strengths. Remember this. We'll go back to this. The Sony acquisition, I'll just say it. The Sony acquisition of Bungie is a giant reason of why the layoffs are happening the way they are right now. And we'll cover the Sony buyout. We'll cover what Pete Parsons did afterwards. All of this will be covered. Do not worry. And create new opportunities for Bungie talent. First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE, over the next few quarters. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force. Translation. First translation, by the way, guys. If Sony Interactive Entertainment did not literally give them a parachute for 155 roles, they would have to lay off these people as well. The layoffs would not be 17%. The layoffs would be literally 30%. 1/3 of the company. That is how fucked Bungie is. That is how absolute dog shit this company is, guys. Dog shit. I want you to remember. It is only by sheer luck and happenstance is Sony saving 155 of the jobs. And it's probably some bigger developers, probably some of the more major talent pieces that, were very integral to the creation of things like the final shape and so on. But dude, 39%. Sorry, 30%. The number would have been 30%. This is fucking nuts. Like, I don't know if you guys understand how crazy you have to fuck up as an executive company, as an executive in a company, to be forced to lay off 1/3 of your workforce, guys. And we're not in a full recession yet. We're not in a situation where, it's like, the housing market imploding or whatever. This is not one of those situations. This is a completely different situation. Darkshade says, translation, deepening our integration. They gave us $700 million. Oh, funny note. We'll go back to that. This is going to be related to what caused this issue, Darkshade. Don't worry. Second, we're working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new sci-fi fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. This will be a tremendous change for our studio. Let us unpack how we ended up in this position. I wonder, I have not read the statement yet. I wonder if he's going to say, you know what? It is me, Pete Parsons. I fucked it up. I spent millions of dollars buying, really expensive cars when Sony bought us out. We were given hundreds of millions of dollars in the buyout from Bungie being turned over to Sony. And we squandered it all. We made bad financial decisions. We became too large, too fast, and we couldn't even handle the development of our own game, which led to several different Destiny 2 expansions in a row being dog shit and people hating it. And, we decided to not make our game better, but we decided instead to gouge our players over and over and over again with ever-increasing microtransactions, with ever-increasing FOMO, with ever-increasing, sunsetting of previous content. I wonder if he's going to say that. Because let me tell you guys, spoiler alert, those are some of the lion's shares of the large reasons that Bungie is in the state it's in now. I don't think he's going to say that. But let's you know what? Let's see. Maybe he'll say that, guys. Maybe he'll say that. Maybe this will be actually something he says. Who knows? Who knows? What do you think? What is the over-under that he says it, guys? What is the over-under? Yeah. Oh, yeah, Robot. Exactly. For over 5 years, it has been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model fucking sucked. It stretched our talent too thin, too quickly. No fucking shit. So yeah, he's actually going into a little bit of the detail here. So what you do is you have one good company. Let's just say one good company. And then you decide, you know what? I'm seeing the writing on the wall. We're in COVID. Because a lot of these issues, by the way, started during COVID. I want you to know. This is the same kind of tech layoff that has occurred at Riot Games. Same kind of tech layoff that has occurred at Intel today as well. I haven't covered the Intel one yet, but we'll be covering that at some point as well. This is the same issue that has, hit EA, hit Ubisoft, hit every single Microsoft as well. Every single game company out there has been affected by layoffs for really a lot of the same reasons. Shocker, some of them are shared with, Bungie's layoffs here as well. However, it's much worse for Bungie, and I will go into why as well. It's not only the same issues. But yeah, so they take a company, they decide during COVID, we're going to have infinite growth forever, and our shareholders demand it, because now we're going to be owned by a shareholder company, in this case Sony. And so as a result, growth good. We're going to spread out, create several new companies, split our talent between all of them. We're going to realize we don't have enough people in those companies, so we're going to go on a hiring spree. We're going to hire dozens and dozens and dozens of people and not have the infrastructure or ability or games coming out in, decent short order to actually be able to fund the games. Our eyes are going to be too fucking big for our plate. And because we're executives and we're greedy fucking assholes, we're going to have major layoffs to the tune of literally 1/3 of the company as a result years later. By the way, guys, that's what happened. That's actually what happened. But let's see what details he goes into. It also forces studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support. Wow, man, I'm fucking nailing it already, guys. Look at that. Given our two primary products in development were Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall. It's not just Lightfall that was bad. It's a couple of expansions in a row that were very, very lackluster. Lightfall was just really shit. Like, Lightfall was just super giga shit. And the need to give both the Final Shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious. Our eyes were too large for our plate. We were at the buffet table, and we decided to put the chicken, the roast beef, the steak, the shrimp, the potatoes, the corn, the stuffing, the this, the that. And you know what? I can only eat one of these meals. I can only eat the chicken. Everything else goes in the trash can. That's what happened here. By the way, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. After this new trajectory became clear, by the way, trajectory doesn't change that fast. Like, trajectory doesn't all of a sudden, like, oh my God, we were in the green 1 month and now we're in the red and we are fucked. It doesn't happen like that, guys. Like, it literally, unless there's something crazy like the housing market crash or whatever, companies' financials don't change that fast generally. There's always writing on the wall. There's always discussions about these things beforehand. I work in business. This is my background. For anyone new to this video, for anyone new to the community, I work in business. This is my day job. I do consulting. I fix companies going through this situation. I work in engineering, construction management, project management of large projects. We do a lot of brokering between companies and projects as well. A little bit of everything. That is my day job. I work very hard at it. I work literally 10 to 12 hours a day on my day job. Streaming is my relaxation. Ranting about, games companies doing fucking bullshit like this is also my relaxation. So, but this is not a thing I don't know nothing about. I know a lot about this subject. I've lived this subject many, many times. I grew up on these streets. And this is something that a game company like Bungie, or, previously like Microsoft, previously like all of these other companies that have had these layoffs, they all saw this writing on the wall. And none of these companies want to admit any of these issues when they have time to change it. Because if they do, that means number is not going up. And if they're a company that has that is publicly traded, or if they're part of a company, an umbrella company that's publicly traded, line not going up is bad. And if line is not going up and permanent growth is not always happening, your shareholders are pissed and they want sacrifices at the altar of the stock market. That's what it is. It is cutting your nose off to spite your face. It is letting go of your talented developers in order to save face for a single quarter. That's what this is. Because nothing shows up nicer on a quarterly than dumping a whole bunch of your great developers for a game company, because that's what shows up really good on financials. Is it bad for a company? Absolutely. That is why the two best video game companies out there right now, Larian Studios and From Software, and then, to a lesser extent, in some ways, Nintendo as well, and we have a couple other prime examples of this, they do their damnedest to bend over backwards, take the hit themselves as executives, or shorten the executive staff or whatever, in order to make sure they keep the development companies and their development teams as close to whole as possible. The last thing they want to do is kill the developers, because that is where the talent is. That is the team that will be making your next banger game. That will be making the next giant leap for your company going forward. Those are the people that are actually worth it in your company. Larian Studios, From Software, those are the companies that really, truly get it. Nintendo as well. This is I shit on Nintendo all the time for the things they do really, really roughly, where they're, attacking the people that, make videos about their games or, tournaments or things like that, or they're shutting down ROM sites. I make those videos all the time. I'm no like, dick sucker for Nintendo. Don't get me wrong. But one thing that they did was when they faced the giant hit of the Wii U, I think it was the Wii U, right? It was the Wii U. Being like literally absolute dog ass, and they lost their financial ass over it. They didn't fire their game developers. They didn't fire their team. They knew it wasn't their fault. The executives, including the CEO took a 50% salary hit. A 50% salary hit. He said, I would rather take the hit of my own pocketbook than have my developers get hit. And a lot of the senior staff followed suit. I mean, only the really CEO was his, verbiage really covered because he had a really nice quote and all that. You can look it up yourself. It's on Google. It's really easy to find. But the rest of the executive board at Nintendo took the hit as well. I mean, it's not like they didn't take a hit. They absolutely took a hit. And it was to save the game developers. And guess what? All of a sudden, the Nintendo Switch sells, what is it, like 132 million units since its launch? It's the best-selling, single best-selling console of all time, and I have my own problems with Nintendo Switch, but there's no doubting its success, and there's no doubting that the game developers that they saved during the Wii U debacle is a huge reason that thing is a success. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just the writing is on the wall for anyone willing to see it. And in the case of Larian Studios and From Software, anytime that they've had financial straits, they've done all of the things necessary. They've taken the financial hits themselves. They've made sure to not be publicly traded companies. And they are the first to tell you that the reasons their games are so good consistently, year over year, banger after banger after banger after banger, and the reason their games are so successful is because they don't kill their development teams. They know if they have a developer team that is, for example, of 5 people. This is Larian Studios, Sven Vernicki. I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Larian Studios CEO. He has a quote where he talks about, I'm getting the analogy not completely a one-to-one, but he essentially says, if I have a team of 5 people, and in order to save face or, save the hit financially or whatever, I lay off one of them. That team now is much less effective. It's not just a reduction of 20%. It is a reduction of more than 20% because that one guy had a lot of knowledge. He had a lot of development knowledge. He was trained. He knew the game. He knew the previous games. He's had a lot of previous knowledge for all of the companies so far. And as a result, the loss of that man or woman is far more than 20%. It is more like akin to 30, 35% of a loss. So that is why Sven Vernicki says it is so important to keep these developer teams together, to make sure you don't lay them off, to make sure you don't spread too far too fast and then get screwed over when, things don't turn out with the rosy picture that you want it to be. When you're a publicly traded company and they say in order to, make us shareholders happy, because these companies, a lot of them are shareholder ran. And they all they care about is giving dividends to their shareholders. And they basically want sacrifices at the altar of the stock market. That's what it is. That's what these layoffs oftentimes are about. But anyways, going back to what they're saying, I went on a little bit of a tirade there. We're going to go on a lot of tirades tonight on this discussion, guys. I can tell you that much already. Get ready. Strap on in. It's going to be a wild ride. We did everything to avoid... Okay, yeah. These steps were simply not enough. Right. The exhaustive efforts were undertaken by our leadership product teams to resolve our financial challenges. We don't know any of those. All we know is that they have tried to milk their consumer base, their player base, with microtransaction hell, with FOMO, with every trick in the book, to the point that the Destiny 2, at any game developer conference, the Destiny 2 devs are literally on record talking about the next way that they've tried to fuck over their player base. They are on record doing this. On record far more than EA and Ubisoft. The Bungie devs? Holy shit, man. They have this shit down to a science. I feel so sorry for anyone who is a Destiny 2 enjoyer, who lives and breathes Destiny 2. You guys got fucking scammed for over a decade, man. Over a decade, they've been making you go through all of the FOMO, all the microtransactions, all of this, all of that, every single version of monetization and fucking trickery under the sun that they've tried to do in game development as a whole. They chucked into this one game. Jesus Christ, man, you guys are like PTSD survivors. You guys have been through the ringer, man, the meat grinder. Oh my God, it's gonna be funny to watch these, not funny, but like, you know, funny as in a, not funny haha, but like funny as a, like a pathetic way, watching all of these players of Destiny 2 migrating to other games and looking at the monetization of those games and being like, wait, what? I don't have to play 7 DLCs? Wait, what do you mean I don't have to buy them all? Wait, what do you mean that I can just pay a game one time for one game and that's it? Are you sure? Wait, what do you mean I don't have to have my previous, you know, weapons and content sunsetted and it just becomes completely useless and like a lump of trash in my bag space that I'm going to delete anyways? What do you mean I am not going to get screwed over if I don't pre-order the DLC? Because if I don't pre-order the DLC, I won't get like, you know, the OP weapon 3 months early and it'll like just completely break the game. What do you mean that's not a thing in this game? They're going to see what the other side of gaming is like. And their heads are going to explode. They're going to go through like all these other games, whether they go to like, you know, a game like Path of Exile or League of Legends or Valorant or this or that or whatever. And they're going to realize all the ways that they were literally getting fucked in the ass by Bungie for over a decade. And they'll be like, wow, this is how the other side lived. Is because, and the reason I'm saying is there's people who play Destiny 2 and other MMOs. That's not many of them. When you're playing an MMO, usually that MMO is your main game. And so a lot of the Destiny 2 players that I know play nothing but Destiny 2. They don't play Destiny 2 plus F14. They don't play Destiny 2 and World of Warcraft. They don't play Destiny 2 and, you know, all these games. If you're one of them guys, you're the rare one. That I'm talking about the general player base of Destiny 2. They only play Destiny 2, so they only know Destiny 2. But yeah, going back to it, guys. Going back to it. As a result, today we must say goodbye to incredible talent, colleagues, and friends. This will be a challenging time at Bungie, and we'll need to help our team navigate these challenges in the weeks and months ahead. This will be a hard week, and we know that our team will need time to process, to ask questions, and to absorb this news. Today and over the next several weeks, we will host team meetings and town halls, team breakout sessions, and private individual sessions to ensure that we are keeping our communication open and transparent. It's already not been open or transparent. He's already failed. Pete is a piece of shit. He's already failed. Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members building Destiny and Marathon, and we'll continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. They haven't exceeded players' expectations in months, in years. I have no doubt. And we'll go into why. He's literally lying here. He's talking about building Destiny. Spoiler alert, guys. Destiny 3 is not a thing. There is no Destiny 3 coming out. Every Destiny player is fucked. If you're a Destiny player, I want you to know. We'll go over it in detail. But spoiler alert, I'm not one of those guys that leaves all their information for the end to make sure you watch the end of the video. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those YouTubers. Maybe I should be. Maybe that would make my analytics better. But frankly, I don't give a shit. Frankly, I care more about getting you guys the real information, and I always will. The real information is there is no Destiny 3. Pete was lying to you. The developer team of executives at Bungie were lying to you for years. You will get nothing. You will get the bare minimum for Destiny 2 going forward, and that is it. Your game is done. I just want to rip off that Band-Aid. This will be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today, our focus is on supporting our people, Pete. This is like a 0 out of 10 response, by the way. This might be one of the worst responses I've ever seen from a CEO regarding layoffs. Pretty much fucking ever. The only good sentence here, the only thing that is worth any shit at all is right here, talking about the generous exit package, including severance bonus and health coverage that they're offering to the people that they're laying off. They're literally shafting like fucking crazy. This is the only good sentence in this entire page. Nothing else in this page is worth it, and literally like chunks of it are just complete fucking abject lies, and I've already explained many ways how. This guy's a piece of shit. Pete Parsons. So here's a little funny thing. Pete Parsons, who wrote that statement, his statement on the wiki was rewritten. So let's read it. Longtime Bungie executive, current chief executive officer, CEO of Bungie, member of the Bungie board of directors. Parsons came into Bungie as a studio manager, while a Bungie frequent interviewee. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought this was rewritten. Oh, I guess it was fixed. So this was rewritten by people that were angry about what happened, and they were just shitting on Pete Parsons. So I think this was changed. Never mind. I couldn't cover this now. But it was pretty amusing to see that happen. Because people were pissed off and they decided to rewrite the fucking thing. Welcome Vex, welcome Otter. So good to see you. So good to have you in here. Lots and lots of love, Vex. Lots of love, Otter. Lots of love, Dungeon. And wonderful Wolf Masumi, welcome. Hope you guys are doing great. Hiding tweets and people called you out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let me take a break and look at what you guys are writing. Darkshed says, I don't know about Destiny stuff much, but let me take a guess at what happened here. Shareholders wanted more money, so even though we put out another successful expansion, our margins aren't as fat as the board's necks. So yeah, fired. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Darkshade, that is exactly what happened. But that's not only what happened. It gets worse. It gets worse. And we'll cover what else happened. Absolutely. This is a multi-pronged approach as shit. It's like a trident of dildos fucking all of the developers that got laid off. It's a three-pronged approach, man. It's a three-pronged approach, let me tell you. The other interesting thing is Pete Parson is such a stupid little bitch that he actually privated his profile afterwards as well. He put his head in the sand, and he decided that he doesn't want to take the heat. So he put himself under private. Perfect. Yeah. Well done, Pete. What card next are you getting? Pete Parsons needs to step down. I think this is like really important. Pete Parsons does need to step down. He's had shit tier after shit tier after shit tier move over and over and over again, and has proven that he was the wrong person to have a CEO. I don't know why he still has a job. The fact that he has a job after failing over and over and over again is actually insane to me. It is literally insane to me. So let's go to the Bloomberg article. The Bloomberg article by Jason Schreier. He's going to have a lot of information about this. He makes some really good in-depth. You know how we're talking about how games journalism is so important and how it's like, you know, cannibalistic and it's eating itself literally half to death. And there's like very little actual good game journalists out there. Jason Schreier is one of the good ones. Jason Schreier is one of the good ones. So we're gonna read this little discussion on Bloomberg by Jason Schreier, and I can respect him going private. I don't. Otter, he is the CEO of the company. It is his job to take the heat. It is his job to be responsible. He has spent over a decade being irresponsible with Bungie, being irresponsible with the development of the company, being irresponsible with the money given to him. And we'll go into the details. Sony's buyout, by the way, Otter, is in the realm of hundreds of millions of dollars. That is the amount of money he squandered. It's not like, you know, he didn't get that much money when Sony bought him out, so, you know, it's really hard to balance all these things. No, they got a fuck ton of money. They got an absolute boatload of money. Death threats? No one should ever get... No, I'm not talking about death threats. Otter, I'm not talking about death threats. Death threats are always bullshit. Death threats are always wrong. And he's a fucking grown-up. He can literally just not listen to those. I mean, that's the thing. Anyone giving death threats is an automatic block ban. They should be thrown off the platform, in my opinion. I think that, you know, death threats are not treated harshly enough by a platform. I'm not talking about that. That's a straw man argument. That's a misnomer, Otterfang. That should never be in this conversation, because frankly, that is like literally nothing. It's just something that you know, is frankly a lot of times blown out of proportion. A lot of people will use that as a shield against being actually, you know, given you know, proper criticism against. And also, let us not forget, he is a veteran CEO. It is his job to listen to the consumer. obviously ban the death threats, but I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about everything except those. Going on. Future of Destiny. Sony's Bungie faces reckoning after mass layoff. By the way, this is their second layoff. I want you to know, this is not their first layoff. Their second layoff, their first layoff was also more than 100 people being laid off. That's the thing. That is the thing. So just for future reference, the numbers are much worse. The first layoff only happened a couple months ago. Hi, everyone. Today, we got a big report on the future of Destiny developer Bungie. But first, this week's Talk Gaming News. We're not going to really go for that. Though I will be talking about some of this maybe later. We'll be going over some of this later on. Destiny change. This week, Sony Group Corp's Bungie shrunk from 1,300 employees to roughly 850. Deep cuts that are likely to change the nature of the long-running video game developer. Bungie, the story creator of Halo franchise and the online game Destiny, said it laid off 220 people on Wednesday. Those cuts included several top executives who have been with the company for decades, according to people familiar. The teams that were hit hard included audio, narrative, and player support. Some of the most important parts, by the way, guys, of game development. Yeah, it's interesting because the narrative for Destiny was one of their best held parts. People love the story of Destiny. They suffer through the bullshit of the microtransactions and everything like that because of how apparently I didn't really stick with it. So I don't know how good their story is, but everyone fucking loves their story. So, that's really, really especially shitty. The teams were hit, included audio, narrative, and player support. We already went over that. On social media, individuals shared their layoff stories, including one person that said they were set to go on maternity leave starting Monday. Oh my God. That means they have a new kid. They have new mouth to feed, new financial stress, and it should be a happy time where they can, relax with their newborn and, really get to know their baby and all that. And now they have to worry about losing their fucking job. Jesus Christ. The company said it also hoped to move 155 others to Sony Interactive Entertainment, the separate group that will spin out a new game company. We talked about that. The incubation project is codenamed Gummy Bears. Okay. I'm curious what kind of game this is, because Sony has been on a games as a service, let's just say binge. And so this is another one of those. They don't have a great track record of those. So those 155 developers might not be very safe depending on what Project Gummy Bears is. They've had like a grand total of, only one marginal success of a games as a service project. And that's not due to them. They actually screwed over the pooch on that with Helldivers 2. And the rest of their games as a service projects are complete, abject, utter failures. So who knows what this is? This is the second layoff in less than a year for the revered game studio. Here we go. This is giving some details that I mentioned earlier. Thank goodness. Absolutely. Which was founded in 1991, created two of the biggest franchises like Halo and Destiny. That ambitious growth and some of the big misses led Bungie to lose money over the past 2 years, forcing developer to cut costs, freeze salaries, and shed hundreds of workers. This week, to learn more about what happened and what comes next. This is why good games journalists are important. This is why someone like Jason Schreier is important. Someone like me, someone like Bellular, someone like Asmongold, any one of us content creators that try our best to cover the news as best we can, and Bellular, has a lot more resources than the rest of us by any means, we could not get this information. The 10 employees coming out and actually giving hard, real information to a games journalist is something only we can magnify the voice of. This is the importance of game journalists. This is why someone like Jason Schreier should be applauded for the hard work they do. This is not an Alyssa Mercante bullshit situation, someone who uses their platform to, shit on gamers and do this and do that and kind of create a terrible situation as a whole. This is an actual good games journalist. And this is the important. This is information that we would never, ever get in a million years. Union would have saved their jobs. I don't know, because it looks like their financial situation is shit enough that they're kind of shit out of luck in general. However, I will say that only Microsoft has been very good about having union jobs. In fact, one of the big changes was so a union gives bargaining power to a group of individuals that otherwise would not have that level of bargaining power. So in this instance, it would have helped, because if they actually went through a lot of these things, and there's no reason to doubt Jason Schreier, he has good information. So if they went to cutting costs, raising salaries, and so on over 2 years, a union would see the writing on the wall and tell its people that, hey, we have to take this seriously. We have to get to the bottom of what is going on. That we have to get to the bottom of what is happening with this game company and why these issues are happening to you. Because if we do, we can head off worse problems in the future. So Vex, unironically, yes, a union would have helped. If these issues have been going on over 2 years, such discussions would have happened far before 30% of a company is laid off. Yes. There would have been articles about it, information would have been rampant about it, so on and so forth. And the layoffs probably would have still happened, Vex, but not nearly as egregiously. And maybe it would have stayed off future issues, because we would have gotten to the problem. We would have gotten to the bottom of the problem at the beginning, as opposed to years in, where it is literally just like, a shit situation, nothing good is going to happen, and everyone's fucked, which is where we are now. So yeah, I think unironically, a union would have at least helped the situation, mitigate it a bit. I mean, if nothing else changed, the layoffs are going to happen no matter what. Like the layoffs at Microsoft, which is, heavily unionized, not heavily, but like decently unionized, the layoffs still happen there. But they have to at least be extremely transparent about it. You make sure you're not so in a union position. One reason these game companies don't like to work with unions is when they have layoffs, they fuck over their developers. They give the bare minimum. They only are living in the fear of the DOL, Department of Labor, auditing them anytime a major firing happens. And that's why they try to give not less than the bare minimum of severance package. A union will at least make sure you get a proper severance package. So yeah, that is another other side of it for sure. I don't think I really know about that dungeon. If you send me an article about it, I can check to see if it's something you guys would be interested in. But yeah. Okay, so we spoke to 10 former employees, current and former Bungie employees, who asked not to be identified because they were not authorized to speak to the press. Totally fair. Described a company that grew too fast and tried to develop too many projects at once, spreading resources thin rather than prioritizing its cheap moneymaker Destiny 2, which unironically led to a worse Destiny 2 going forward for several expansions in a row, which exacerbated the issue here. And funny note, by the way, this type of situation has happened many times. It's happened with CA. When CA decided to try to make a games as a service, a live service bullshit, and wasted over $250 million for Hyenas, a game that actually got axed before it released. It was that bad of a game. And then CA tried to, shove the costs over onto us players of their actual good games, Total War Warhammer. This is Total War series in general. This feels very similar. This is a situation. This is a song we've heard many times before. Many times before. So yeah. Okay, going on. Sorry about that. Sometimes my tirades get my brain confused. Most of the people were critical of CEO Pete Parsons, saying he had failed to take accountability for his own bad bets, and he had been overly optimistic in his communication with the staff. This is very true. I have no doubt about this. Even as a so-called apology statement and everything like that was such bullshit as well. Some said Parsons and other company leaders spoke of Bungie magic, a confident mantra similar to once preached by other elite video game studios, that they can make anything work out. See BioWare magic, Arcane magic, etc. Guess what? None of these work. They basically fly by the seat of their pants. They make bad bets, and they rely on their amazing game devs to save them in the most dire straits. And it doesn't happen. every single time. Sometimes it doesn't happen, you get a red fall. Sometimes it doesn't happen, you get a light fall. What is with all these fall games sucking ass? Jesus Christ. Sometimes it happens and you get, all these other failed games that really did not do the exponential growth that they expected and leads to layoffs. A Bungie spokesperson did not respond to requests for comment. Bungie first released Destiny in 2014 in partnership with Activision Blizzard Inc. under a contract that called for the developer to release a new product every year. It's just crazy. Alternating with expansions, yeah. Schedule proved untenable. They decided to only do live service. We know the history of this game. Early 2022, during an era of low interest rates. Okay. So, Jason Schreier is very smart. He's going to go into the stock market shit. He's going to go into the shareholder shit. Low interest rate and stuff. This is like talking about the expansion. Sony purchased Bungie for... I was wrong. I said hundreds of millions, guys. I was wrong. $3.6 billion. So that means Bungie had $3.6 billion minus all the liabilities they had to pay for when the company changed hands, which is not, to the tune of billions of dollars. And as a result, guys, their shareholders were probably very happy. And the executives squandered billions with a B dollars. Billions with a B. And Struba, welcome, my friend. So good to see you. So good to have you in here. Flush with cash, Bungie hired hundreds of new staff members and pursued a myriad of incubation projects, including mobile versions of Destiny, new franchises, and remakes of old games. So yeah, I bet you a bunch of these are other live service games as well, which cost a lot of development dollars and are literal, dartboard, throwing the dart at the dartboard. Will it succeed? Will it not? But the following year, as the industry's pandemic surge slackened, Bungie grappled with several problems. An expansion called Lightfall failed to impress fans, while Marathon, an extraction shooter that was well in development, struggled to coalesce. Meanwhile, the next Destiny 2 expansion, called The Final Shape, was also floundering and needed more time to come together. Dude, we almost had a Final Shape that also was a complete abject failure. Final Shape was apparently a good W expansion. It was almost a complete L. I've seen, tweets and stuff from the developers of The Final Shape talking about, how lucky it was that The Final Shape actually ended up being a good expansion. It was set to be another Lightfall. And Lightfall is not their first failure. Their past several expansions were the start of the downturn, the start of the decline, and all of them, for the past, 5 years, Bungie has gotten worse and worse in microtransactions, shitting over their player base and so on and so forth. This is a thing that Bungie's been doing for a while. Now, you'll find with MMOs, let's use my MMO of choice, World of Warcraft, as an example. A single failed expansion will not screw over the player base, will not actually really shake the player base at its core. It takes several expansions in a row of shit to really start sticking. That's the problem. We had BFA, we had Shadowlands, and then we had Dragonflight. Dragonflight was the W expansion, right? Good gameplay and stuff. But the numbers for Dragonflight were still a flounder, were still not that great. Why is that? It's because they had multiple DLCs in a row that were complete and abject failures. And the numbers for Shadowlands were actually quite high. The numbers really lag behind the success or the failure of an expansion. This is something to always remember with MMOs. This has been supported time immemorial with more than just World of Warcraft. I just know World of Warcraft better than any other MMO, so that is why I'm covering that one. Okay, but anyways, during one grim meeting in late 2023, so this was just a few months ago, according to the people familiar, Parsons told staff that the company had missed its revenue targets by 45%. 45%. And they did not change nearly enough in 9 months, guys. So they knew the writing was on the wall. And that's when they laid off 100 employees. Feeling pressure from the parent company, seeking increased profitability. So yeah, Sony didn't just give you $3 billion and say, go at it. Sony gave you $3 billion and said, you better perform. Because if you don't, we are a shareholder-held company. We are publicly traded, and our shareholders need heads on the pike. And if we don't get those heads on a pike, the executives' heads are going to be on the pike. And that's a lot of reasons why layoffs happen, by the way, guys. For all these major companies that are held by publicly traded positions and so on, that is why. Bungie charted a new course. Both Marathon and Destiny received new leadership as Sony's video game unit replaced the CEO and laid off 900 people. This was the big Sony debacle way back, by the way, that I did cover as well. Check those videos. I rant about this often. Unfortunately, we see this issue over and over and over again. Earlier this year, Sony Interactive Entertainment chairman Hiroki Totoki publicly criticized Bungie, saying that he wanted to see more accountability. And guess what? Their executive staff has never had real accountability. That is why problems became as large as they are. Employees were hopeful that the extra time on Final Shape would lead to a great product, and the expansion did receive rave reviews. I have friends who play Destiny 2. They said the Final Shape was an absolute banger. Critical acclaim had little impact on the deeper cuts that were already in the works at Bungie, as GameFile's Stephen Totillo reported on Thursday. So basically what he's saying is it doesn't really matter how good the Final Shape was. These cuts were going to happen no freaking matter what. That is a terrible sign. So like basically, unless this was like a blowaway giveaway, like a blowaway win of like to the tune of billions of dollars of extra revenue, which was never going to happen, there was no way these layoffs would not happen. That's how bad the financial situation at Bungie was and is. In a blog post announcing, acknowledged the company had grown too much. We were overly ambitious. We already read that. One of Bungie's big bets was Payback, an incubation project set in the Destiny universe that would shake up the formula in major ways. According to people familiar, it would pivot from first person to third person and allow players to use franchise characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters and solve puzzles. It took elements from popular games such as Warframe and Genshin Impact. And Destiny is already very Warframe-esque, so that's pretty funny. Although several internet rumors over the past few months have suggested that Payback would be a sequel to Destiny 2, it was a significant departure and was more of a spin-off. So I don't know if he's going to come into this, but I'm sure he will, but just in case he doesn't, guys, that means that all the promises and all the whispers about Destiny 3 being worked on and how the Final Shape is going to lead into Destiny 3, those were fucking lies. Destiny 3 was never being worked on. This is an abject lie from Bungie staff. And no other major expansion is coming out for Destiny 2. All Destiny 2 will get in the future are minor content updates. That's it. That is literally it. Nothing more. Not terrifying? I mean, a lot of these game companies do that, Striba. It's really pathetic and really, really bad. But yeah, this happens unfortunately quite often. I'm not sure if you're a Destiny player, but yeah, this has been an issue for a while for them. But 2 months ago, Bungie even canceled Payback to prioritize other games that were more imminent, moving the bulk of its team to Marathon, which is targeting release in 2025. The company continues to plans to continue to update Destiny 2, although it will no longer pursue regularly paid expansions. During one meeting, the company leader told attendees the sales of each expansion had declined year over year, so they're moving away from annual releases. I mean, it's like I said, the failures of an MMO compound upon each other. They always have, and they always will. Will the Flute Boy says, honestly, I saw the writing on the wall with Destiny 2 when they started to phase out older content and players lost access to the content they pay for. Yeah, sunsetting. Yeah, Will, I talked about sunsetting earlier. Sunsetting is one of the worst things a live service game can do to basically screw over the current player base and increase FOMO and try to force players to continue to buy the new content. That is exactly, they did it on purpose. They literally did it on purpose. It's called sunsetting. Exactly. Sorry, my voice is like dying because I'm going hard on this one. Some staff said that they're optimistic about the vision for Destiny 2 under new director Tyson Green, a Bungie veteran who took the helm earlier this year. In the coming months, people said Bungie will look to retrain and attack players with smaller scale content drops, modeled after Into the Light, a well-received update in April that added even a new mode into the game. Rather than selling this content, Bungie will aim to release it for free along with overhauls to activities that with hopes will appeal to hardcore players. Other vague plans for the future include a storyline that will feature characters and worlds that Destiny has not yet explored. But no major update at all. SteamHack, you never took the transition from first Destiny. I played the first Destiny for a couple of weeks. It never grabbed me. I played the second Destiny for a couple of weeks. It never grabbed me. I'm very lucky. I never got grabbed by Destiny in general. I know a lot of Destiny content creators right now on YouTube and stuff, and they're literally shaking broken bricks because this is their main game. And when this game dies, their stream, their YouTube content, all of it will also take a major hit. This absolutely screws over all the Destiny 2 content creators as well. And there's a lot of people where Destiny 2 is their main content. I have friends that stream mainly Destiny 2. They're going to be fucked. Like, I feel so bad for them, man. It really, really fucking sucks. Fans have wondered if Bungie might one day start anew with Destiny 3. But such a project has not been in development, according to people familiar. Bungie instead looked to create a smoother onboarding process for Destiny 2, such as rebranding and all that. Basically, they didn't want to create a new game. Those left of Bungie will now have to make do with smaller staff, tighter schedules, and a company that looks significantly different than it did 3 days ago. Longtime veterans Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy exited this week, and these were people that were extremely beloved by the company and by the community as well. I don't really know anything about either Luke Smith or Mark Noseworthy, but I saw the statements talking about like how much of a huge loss it is. So I don't know if it's akin to what it's akin to in other MMO groupings. But if you are watching this video and you're familiar with Destiny 2 and you know who Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy are, please let me know. How much of a loss is this? I really genuinely do not know. Leaving lingering questions about the future of decision-making at Bungie. Bungie staff who lost their jobs are receiving packages that include 3 months of severance and health benefits, but just like last year, anyone who receives stock that has not yet vested will watch it disappear. Ooh. Oh, shit. That means that if you did not vest your stock, you are actually super screwed when you're working for Bungie. That means all of that money, sometimes to the tune of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on your package, depending on what you're being paid by Bungie, depending on what part of your package is stock versus what package is salary and so on. Oh God, oh boy. Oh shit, man. Yeah, that's really bad. W article from Jason Schreier. He gave a lot of really, really good info. I will absolutely be linking this in the description below, so keep an eye out for it. Yeah, it's really, really, really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Oh boy, man. Oh boy. People are pissed, man. Can you drop a story about how the studio hasn't made a good game since 2010? Jesus Christ. That's not exactly true. Yeah, I agree with Jason Schreier. That doesn't exactly happen, but yeah, that's brutal. But yeah, also the community is memeing them as well. So here's one of my favorite memes. Let's take a break with a meme. Oh God. Mass layoffs. Terrible CEO. The player base is watching everything just explode around them. No Destiny 3. Oh my God. Pete Parsons' car purchases. Holy shit. All we can do is laugh, man. Destiny 2 players watching the ship explode. Boom. Oh man. Dude, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies were so good. Holy shit, man. They were so good, dude. They were so good. Whew. I miss them. I don't know if you do, but I miss them. I miss them. Oh, here we go. So here's the Destiny wiki that I was talking about. Okay, Pete Part. So this has been changed. We looked on the wiki. This is no longer what his statement is for Pete Parsons, but what some disgruntled either employee or just random user of the wiki. I'm not sure how their wiki works. What you need to do to change the wiki. But someone wrote Pete Parsons wiki as Pete Parson, destroyer of Bungie, also known as Smegma Pete, Peter Piss Pants, Piss Parson, or Pete Parson of a bitch, is an evil cock-sucking evil CEO, weeping cyst on an arsehole of humanity, horrible person, and classic car enthusiast. He's a prime example of failing upwards. Laying off hundreds of employees is a hobby for him. His will is his own. He loves to kill beloved franchises so he can buy more new cars. He also loves to turn his beloved franchise into third-person slop-filled mobile games. So it looks like Project Payback was not very positively looked upon by the Destiny community. Breaking news, the entire Destiny player base hate him. Signed by Skyburner's Oath and Soulstruck. I don't know who that is. I don't know if they're content creators in the space or what. If you guys know them and you're watching this video, let me know who they are. He allegedly is the main villain in Destiny 2 Project Payback and Destiny 2 Frontiers. His diet is also rumored to consist of steaming, crusty piles of horse shit, dog shit, for all meals of the day, and a big helping of dying franchises for dessert. I wonder why they changed it. Like, I don't know. I think this works, man. I think this works. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. This is brutal, man. This is absolutely brutal. Oh my god. But he deserves every bit of cooking. Peter Pisspants is kind of insane. Yeah, Peter Pisspants goes hard. Peter Pisspants might be my favorite parts of that. Absolutely. Peter Pisspants just has a nice little ring to it. It really does have a good ring to it, man. Oh my god. Hopefully the bullying works. The bullying won't work. Not in this instance. I mean, the damage is done. I can understand the anger. I in fact agree with it. But nothing will change what happened here. This is just bad information after bad information after bad decision after bad decision. And the layoffs, nothing will change the layoffs. It's very sad. I didn't want to be a downer, guys, but I wanted to give it the information to you straight. This is what happened. Destiny 2 is dead. There will be no Destiny 3. The best you can hope for are small micro updates. And, for a game that is literally on life support. Everyone working on Destiny is now working on Marathon. Marathon is the great big hope for Bungie. We don't know if that game will be good or bad. It's going to be another games as a service game. So really, it's a 50% chance. Like, it is a shot in the dark. Is the game going to be good, or is it going to be games as a service dog shit that we've seen many times before from Sony, from Bungie, from everyone involved, and it'll be something that tries to suck the soul out of the player base again. Who knows? Who knows? Many games as a service games have tried to go the extraction shooter route and have become abject failures and have sucked away hundreds of millions of dollars. They've tried this. They've had many games that they failed with hundreds of millions of dollars already, and this might yet again be another one of them. But if there's any information I missed, please let me know. And I will definitely cover this information as it develops. If Pete Parsons has more announcements, if the situation develops where, people are not getting the packages that they need, when they're being laid off, or if more layoffs happen, or whatever happens, I will do my best to give you guys the authentic take, give you guys the most information as possible. Oh, wow. Interrupting this for information. Robot Wizard gave me some information about the Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith. So Mark Noseworthy is a vice president. We don't know really much about him yet. But Luke Smith is Destiny's version of Kevin Feige. So for anyone who doesn't know, Marvel, Kevin Feige was the giant narrative head of the MCU. He is the reason that the MCU had 25 movies come together in an entire genre and you know, like become an entire like coalesced vision at the end of Endgame. That's Kevin Feige. So if he's that robot wizard, that means the next versions and next content drops for Destiny, their narrative situation will probably be infinitely worse. We already saw that a bunch of the people that got laid off were in the narrative team. So we thought this was going to be the case, but yeah, if the Kevin Feige of Destiny is gone, Jesus, dude. Holy smokes, man. That is kind of worse than I thought, Robot Wizard. Thank you for that information, man. Thank you for that information. But yeah, if you guys are watching this video and you guys are fans of Destiny, if you play Destiny, please let me know what you all think of this. Everyone let me know what you think of this information. This is yet another example of AAA gaming, of gaming of companies that are publicly traded screwing over its player base, screwing over its developers, firing and laying off people that are hardworking due to the short-sightedness and due to the terrible nature and lack of accountability of game executives. We've seen this in Memorial. We've seen this at pretty much every single major layoff that we've seen in the past 2 years, and we're seeing this yet again. And sadly enough, with a game franchise as storied and as begrudgingly and belovedly looked upon as Destiny. So yeah, sorry to give the sad information, but I will always give it to you straight. I will always give you my authentic take, and I will always give you the information that I possibly can to sift through the shit as someone who also works in business. Not game-related business, but I at least understand what corpo speak is, and I can tell you what the truth is, and why these situations happen every single time they happen. So hopefully I was able to, elucidate you guys with some new information. Hopefully I was able to give you guys some sad laughs. Not happy laughs, but at least sad laughs, because that's all we have left in this type of deal. And hopefully, the developers that worked at Destiny 2, the really talented ones, they're able to go to another team, another game, and they're able to make another game better. And, hopefully we'll be able to continue to see their mark. A lot of times the developers that get fired, they leave the game development group as a whole, and they go into like software development. They go into like something completely unrelated. And as a result, that talent is gone forever. I sincerely hope that is not something that happens here. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think below. Give it a like, give it a sub, share it with your friends. If you want to see more of this content, like I said, I'm brand new to YouTube, so I'll try to always give my authentic take. And we're slowly growing, but I'm very passionate about this, and I hope that passion comes through for you. See you guys in the next video. Let's see what JC Creations wrote. I've been playing Destiny as a whole for 10 years, since D1 Alpha. I've seen this franchise go up and down, through all the bad and the good. Witch Queen, in my opinion, was the high point for Destiny 2 going to the finale. That seasonal year, besides Plunder, was good. We got a lot of answers right before Lightfall. The hype was real, and then someone shot the dog. Yeah. Yeah. I know, my friend. I have a lot of friends that play Destiny 2. That's their main game. I have content creators that is the main thing that they make content about. And this is like a literal gut punch. Please give the rant. Please. In fact, I'll be putting this video up probably tonight. I'll try to get a quick thumbnail made by one of my artists and stuff, and try to get this entire discussion up tonight. So keep an eye out, JC Creations on the YouTube. I don't know if you're subbed to YouTube, but I will be putting it up there. Put the entire rant up there, my friend. I will cover it as well. And absolutely, I'm story guy. Absolutely, my friend. I'm a story guy as well. I totally understand. As you can tell from my long-windedness, I talked about this for like an hour straight. My voice is shredded, but it was totally worth it.